I don't care what anybody says, this is still one of the most controversial AMGs ever made, because gone is the V8, and in its place we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder hybrid powertrain putting out a ridiculous amount of power. But I guess the question is, did Mercedes create a monster? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's find out.
Now, once in a lifetime, a manufacturer comes up with something totally unexpected. And well, it only goes one of two ways. Either we accept it or we reject it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mercedes-AMG C63 SE Performance, a car that divided enthusiasts around the world before most people even got behind the wheel. Because for the first time in C63 history, the legendary V8 is gone. In its place, a 4-cylinder hybrid. Now, let me ask you this. Would you spend over 2.4 million rands on this? Or would you walk straight into BMW and buy an M3 Competition xDrive instead? Because that's exactly the conversation people are having. Mercedes wasn't trying to make people comfortable. Mercedes was trying to make the fastest and most technologically advanced C63 ever built. So, in this video, we're going to take it out for a drive, look at its engine, check out the handling, and of course launch it from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Because this is Mzansi Popular Rides and I am Miocha. Now, let's get into it. Before we get carried away with 500 kilowatts, let's talk cost of ownership, powered by Hippo. This Mercedes-Benz AMG C63 SE Performance has a retail selling price of 2,417,692 rands when new. So I jumped onto hippo.co.za to compare insurance quotes, and the lowest insurance quote I got came in at about 3,566 rands per month, based on my profile. If you factor in the monthly installment and the cost of one full tank, cost of ownership will set you back 53,143 rands per month. Yep, suddenly this AMG starts reminding you that performance always comes at a price. For an insurance quote, click the link in the description below. Now, let's talk about the madness.
Underneath the bonnet sits a 2-liter hand-built 4-cylinder engine paired with electric motors, putting out a combined power output of 500 kilowatts of power and 1020 Newton meters of torque. Now that's more power than most supercars, and this thing hauls.
Power is sent to all 4 wheels through AMG Performance 4MATIC Plus and a 9-speed AMG Speed Shift MCT transmission. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. Mio, that's impressive, but it's still a 4-cylinder. And honestly, I thought exactly the same thing until I drove it. Because this thing feels absolutely insane. The electric motors delivers instant torque. The electrically assisted turbocharger responds almost immediately. The result is relentless acceleration no matter where you are in the rev range. This car doesn't feel fast, it feels violent. But numbers on paper only tell half the story. Let's hear what they sound like. And this is where I need to be honest. The sound is aggressive, the pops and crackles are there, the theater is there. But if you've experienced previous V8-powered C63s, you'll immediately notice what's missing: the deep, thunderous AMG soundtrack. Mercedes has done a fantastic job, but no amount of technology can completely replace that old V8 character. And that's probably the biggest criticism most enthusiasts will have. I mean, honestly, people bought the C63 because it was raw and brutal and had a V8 powertrain. And that's what it's really all about. Anyway, enough talking. Let's see what 500 kilowatts feels like. Launch control activated, and let's go. Oh my word, that is brutal. The electric motor heats instantly. The petrol engine joins in immediately afterwards. And before you know it, you're traveling at speeds that require legal representation. This thing is seriously quick. And honestly, the acceleration alone is enough to completely change your opinion of this car. 0 to 100 km per hour, well, they say that happens in about 3.4 seconds. Now, let that sink in. Nice! This thing will annihilate the BMW M3 Competition. Now, here's what surprised me the most. Everybody talks about the engine. Everybody talks about the missing V8. But very few people talk about how brilliantly this thing handles. Remember, this was a dealership drive, so I didn't have access to a racetrack. But even on public roads, you can immediately feel how much engineering has gone into this car. The steering is incredibly direct, grip levels are immense, and despite carrying hybrid hardware, this thing feels remarkably agile. The rear wheel steering deserves special mention. At lower speeds, it helps the car feel smaller and easier to maneuver. At higher speeds, it improves stability and confidence. Mercedes gives you comfort, sport, sport plus, race and individual modes amongst other modes. Comfort mode is where this car completely changes character. The suspension softens up, the steering relaxes, the drivetrain becomes more refined, and suddenly you're driving something that feels perfectly happy as a daily commuter. Now that's really impressive. However, switch it into Sport Plus or Race mode and everything sharpens up. Throttle response becomes immediate, the steering gains weight, the exhaust becomes more vocal, and the AMG personality takes over. It's almost like having two completely different cars in one package. And well, this is a hybrid, so you can drive it on electric mode only in some instances. A C63S that is sensible. That's what this is. Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
open up the sunroof.
I'm opening the sunroof.
Now that's always a nice way to start. Inside, the cabin feels every bit like a 2.4 million rand performance sedan should. The dashboard layout is modern, premium and incredibly technology focused. The MBUX infotainment system remains one of the best in the business. You get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless charging, USB-C connectivity, and enough tech to keep even the biggest gadget lover entertained. The digital display includes dedicated AMG performance screens showing power delivery, hybrid system information, and performance data. Ambient lighting looks fantastic. The Burmester sound system is exceptional, and overall, the cabin feels incredibly special. Exactly what you would expect from Mercedes-Benz. Practicality is decent too. You get cup holders, door bins, center console storage, wireless charging, and multiple USB-C ports throughout the cabin. Now, let's talk rear seat space. So, I'm 1.86 meters tall, and with the front seat in my most comfortable sitting position, well then, there's your space. Headroom is decent, legroom is respectable, although taller passengers may begin to feel slightly cramped on longer journeys. For a high-performance sedan though, this is perfectly acceptable. Now, safety has not been forgotten either. You get adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assistance, autonomous emergency braking, parking assistance systems, multiple airbags throughout the cabin, and ISOFIX anchor points for child seats in the rear. This car is constantly working in the background to help keep you safe, even when you're busy enjoying all 500 kilowatts. The one thing I like though is the fact that whenever you launch it, the seat belt adjusts to hold you in place. Now that's a nice touch. Now, one major benefit of the hybrid system is efficiency. Nobody buys a C63 to save fuel, let's be honest. But compared to previous generations, this setup is noticeably more efficient in everyday driving. And that's one of the reasons Mercedes decided to move away from the traditional V8 formula. However, rumor has it that the V8 might be coming back. Mercedes claims fuel consumption figures as low as 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Realistically though, depending on how often you use all 500 kilowatts, expect somewhere between 9 and 11 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, Mercedes-Benz backs the C63 SE Performance with a 2-year unlimited kilometer warranty. You also get a 5-year or 100,000 kilometer premium drive maintenance plan, and the high voltage hybrid battery is covered for 8 years or 160,000 kilometers, which should provide some peace of mind considering the technology packed into this vehicle. Now, let's talk design, because whether you love the engine or hate it, this thing looks absolutely sensational. At the front, you get the iconic AMG Panamericana grille, aggressive air intakes, sharp LED lighting signatures, and enough road presence to make people move out of your lane. From the side, the widened stance immediately stands out. The muscular proportions look fantastic, and those massive 20-inch alloy wheels fill the arches perfectly. At the rear, you'll find LED taillights, a subtle boot spoiler, an aggressive diffuser, and of course, the signature quad exhaust outlets. Regardless of what powers it, this still looks every bit like a proper AMG. There is, however, one compromise. Because of the hybrid battery system, boot space drops to around 315 liters. It's perfectly usable for daily life, but it isn't the most practical sedan in this segment. That's simply the price you pay for all the hybrid technology underneath. Now, if you're shopping in this segment, your biggest rivals include the BMW M3 Competition xDrive, BMW M4 Competition xDrive, and Audi RS5. The BMWs remain the more emotional driver's cars, but the Mercedes fights back with technology, outright power, and an incredibly advanced hybrid drivetrain. Choosing between them ultimately comes down to what matters most to you, emotion or innovation. But let me know in the comment section below, what would you go for? Would you buy a BMW M3 or M4 Competition xDrive over the Mercedes-Benz C63S? Or would you go the Audi route and get yourself an Audi RS5? Let's engage in the comment section below. It'll be quite interesting to know. And with that, here's 2 things I like about the vehicle and 2 things I do not like about it. Number 1, in terms of the things I like, the performance. 500 kilowatts and 1020 Newton meters is simply outrageous. Number 2, the handling. The combination of rear-wheel steering and all-wheel drive is genuinely impressive. And in terms of the things I do not like, number 1, the sound. It's good, but it's not V8 good. Number 2, the reduced boot capacity. The hybrid system brings performance benefits but also packaging compromises. Now, once again, this was a dealership review, and I will be honest, this is such a machine. In fact, it's so good. If it wasn't for the sales consultant sitting in the rear seat, I genuinely think this car would have spent the weekend in my garage, and probably a few scenic routes too. Because this car wants to be driven. It wants corners. It wants acceleration. It wants attention. Is it better than the old V8? That's a debate that will continue for years. But judged for what it actually is, not what people wanted it to be, Mercedes-AMG has built something incredibly impressive. No, it doesn't sound like the old V8. And yes, some enthusiasts will never forgive Mercedes for that. But as a performance machine, this thing is phenomenal. What a masterpiece. But now, I want to hear from you. Would you take the new Mercedes-AMG C63 SE Performance, or would you still choose the old V8? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't yet done so, please be kind to like, subscribe, and to hit the bell icon for more dope content like this. I'll see you in the next one.